Hello. I'm back. We're here. We had some technical issues over the weekend, so I was not able to stream, and I'm streaming today instead. So there, that's what we're doing. Um, Every time I look at the camera, it's worse. I don't have a clear plan in mind. I have some ingredients I want to use, so we're gonna play around a bit. We have pumpkin left over. Not a ton of it, but more than I'm comfortable in just giving up on. Uh, and it's all perfectly roasted. So we're gonna use that. One way or another, we're gonna use that. And I've got in my head some kind of like dessert item. I hardly ever make desserts here because I'm often cooking for myself for dinner. And then I plan out specific dessert items. So I'm still kind of just not settled on what I want to do in general. I have pumpkin and it's unseasoned, so I can go any direction I want with it. We could go a savory direction with it. But I've got lots of odds and ends. We still have a little bit of sauce arrowé. We have some pumpkin spiced ramen broth, and we have some fish stock, all of which should be used soon. We still have mushrooms as well that should probably be used. Tofu that also is in need. Lots of stuff. There's also an apple in here. There's plums. There's a whole lot of onions. There's a couple of cabbages, radishes, a mango. There's a mango, pumpkin. So, and I hardly even cleaned up. Wipe this off. I wasn't honestly planning for today, but my weekend issues got resolved, and I figured we'll do a makeup. But it's really a last second, I don't have a plan thing. So mango roast pumpkin. I want to say it's some kind of and I didn't really pick out any ingredients specifically for such a project. I wonder if we could get a pumpkin puree to set without baking it. Into like a jelly. This could be a chance to do chunks experiments. Where's my silicone cubes? These guys. Okay. If I I think I have a plan. Do I have any graham cracker crumbs? Because I think we could try to make little weird like pie cubes, but I didn't buy any ingredients for this, so I'm just kind of fumbling around with what I've got. There's chocolate up here. Let's get that out. Don't have any graham cracker crumbs. Cocoa powder. We have oats. Unless they're above here. Cake batter. Pancake batter. Oh. Graham cracker crumbs. Okay. If I have graham cracker crumbs, I have these weird little silicone molds. Okay, I have a plan. Let me update my stream info. No one's here yet because I didn't put the. I didn't put a go live literally anywhere. I'm just head emptying. Okay, pumpkin is already a thickener, so I could add a thickener to it. I need a pretty fine puree. Before any of that, step one, we're going to get the pumpkin out of its skin, because I don't think we're going to use the skins, and just see how much we've got to work with. Eggs. Chunks refers to those little square food things from Starfield. I should probably put that in the... And I only literally just came up with that seconds ago. I'm very head emptying right now, and we're fumbling around. How are you? You say hi all. I'm pretty sure you're the only one here. How's things on your end? I had technical issues over the weekend, so we didn't have a stream. By technical issues, I mean hardware issues, and by hardware issues, I mean my furnace died, and I was all bundled up. But it wasn't an emergency, so we didn't get it fixed until today. It wasn't an emergency because it's not below freezing, so nothing was going to freeze. I was just going to be uncomfortable. But I was sure uncomfortable. Well, I appreciate it. The guy said it was a part they don't have, but but there was two of them in there, so he swapped the parts, and he's got the other one ordered. So it'll work, and then he's going to be back to put the other part in. I don't know, man. But in the meantime, I didn't really want to go on here all bundled up. So I just said, I won't stream for the weekend. I'll do other things. But since we're back in commission and I don't have to wear a coat in the house, I'm back. Okay, that's actually quite a bit of pumpkin. This is our roast pumpkin from last week, the ramen, which I only used a few slices of. Now the skin, I selected this pumpkin specifically because the skin on these little sugar pies is edible, but I don't think I want to use the skin for any part of what I'm making now. So I guess I'll hang on to it in case I come up with something in the meantime. And this pumpkin was just lightly oiled and roast. That's it. This one didn't even get any of our spice mixture on it. It was just oiled and roasted. Since I wasn't really any saving it at that stage because we'd already cut it in half to get our slices out. There's quite a bit there. Normally for things that call for a pureed pumpkin, it's entirely not worth it to roast your own pumpkin. Just buy a canned puree that doesn't have any sugar added to it. It'll be good. But since I already have this one, we're going to go ahead with it. I'm going to get the food processor. I want this to be nice and smooth. At the moment, it's going to be too thick to puree, so we're going to have to add some liquid to it. And I might even strain it out afterwards to get rid of any lingering fibers, because I think it'll be really difficult to use if it's too... if it has any of these stringy bits left in it. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what I think when I get that far. How did Pumpkin doesn't taste like much on its own. This is why recipes that are ostensibly pumpkin recipes almost always call for some other kind of squash, because the real pumpkin doesn't have a ton of flavor. What am I making? At the moment, I'm making a pumpkin puree because I've got pumpkin that I need to use up. I have a notion, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. Also, welcome in. Our weekend troubles have been resolved, and we are indeed back in the kitchen. And although I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go on today, turns out I didn't have any conflicts. So I didn't prep anything, but I'm here. So, and I have no recipe. I don't even have a reference recipe up. I'm just nothing right now. Power on. Puree. And streaming some milk to give it some liquid to bite onto, and that I hope is, I think is enough. It sure is orange. Spoon. No, pumpkin is naturally quite thickening, which I've discussed. It stays on the spoon, which I've found from my own past experiments with it. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That was probably around a half a cup of milk. I didn't know how much. I don't know how much pumpkin there was in there. Let's go a little bit longer with it. Okay, so if I want it, we're going to dig into our pumpkin spice well again. I suppose it is kind of yellowy. It's like a bright orange. It's like an orange. Well, see, I know I could add eggs to make it set, but I kind of want to see if I can get this to set without baking it. I might end up putting it on the stove and cooking it there a little bit. Do I have any pre-powdered? Ooh, I do. Ginger, clove, allspice. Other spices. What are you? Cinnamon. And our nutmeg. Which needs grating, of course. Okay, so I guess I am shooting towards a pumpkin pie, as I said in my title, but chunks. I wonder if we could thicken it. Okay. First of all, I'm going to add that to it, along with some sugar. some of this sugar. I'm not measuring anything today. I've decided just now that I'm not measuring anything today. Put the little cap on just because powders might fly out. Power. Okay. I started a little bit late today, and I'm expecting us to not go the full time. As head empty cooking frequently does, I expect I will settle on something relatively simple that will not take very long. But who knows? But who actually knows? Sirens outside. They're coming for me. They know what I've done. Ooh, oh my, that's already quite tasty. Okay. Oh, how do you oil or grease a silicone tray in a way that doesn't impact the flavor of the thing you're putting in it greatly? You use a very neutral oil or a powder, perhaps? Okay. I don't think we're going to use the food processor anymore, so I'm going to get rid of the motor part. I'm going to slide it off the edge of the counter because it all has its suction cup feet. Okay, so the idea is to make little pie cubes in this. How do I oil it up? How do I powder? What do you think? Butter, oil, or some sort of powdered coating? If I butter it, if I heat it and use agar to set it, then it'll be hot when it goes in, and then the butter won't just be butter paste on the outside. This stuff. Jar of unmarked white powder. But I remember what this is. I think that's what I'm going to do with it. How much do I have here? 400 milliliters? About a cup and a half-ish of it. Okay. This is going to be a little funky, I think. Oh, it's already actually pretty thick. It doesn't want to slide off of the blade very easily. So we might not need much of a thickening element to it. Okay. Oh, I've got some residual mess kind of working around over there. Okay, let's get this guy in here. You know, before I set it, I should taste it to make sure I don't want to do anything else to it. I got a little bit on my finger a moment ago. So I'm kind of making a no-egg custard that I want to be able to literally hold its shape like a Jell-O mold in a square. That's the plan right now. So if I take it's oh, that's a lot of liquid. That's a lot more liquid. Problem is I can't test this prior to setting it. Once I've committed, I've committed. Oh, we have an ad. Okay. Well, we're committing. This is, that is a, that whisk has gone rusty. Should have added that to the blender and pureed it. That white powder I just added is agar-agar, which is a seaweed-derived thickener that gives results similar to gelatin, but is not made of meat. And it needs to be heat activated in order to set. So we're going to heat that. That stuff is already thicker than I thought. Pumpkin tends to do that. We're going to butter our molds here. Ended up not using that. Put that away before I get anything on it. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. There's a... Okay. So I want my butter here to be finger softened so that I can rub it all over the interiors of these cubes. Because I am concerned that the silicone's not slick enough to let go of this thing I'm putting into it. So we're greasing these because I'm worried they're not gonna release at all if I don't. Okay. Oh, my fingers are all buttery. Okay. Okay. Wow. Not preparing really has me out of sorts. What time have we had? Only half an hour. Interesting. Nope. My pumpkin puree looks like it's trying to separate a little bit, which is fine. There's a little bit of liquid coming to the surface as I start to heat it, which is fine. I'm surprised that none of those fibers persisted. I guess we roasted it pretty well. Mmm. Tastes like pumpkin pie. This thing is not going to boil. It's just going to start doing that mud volcano thing if I let it. Anyway, take my remaining butter. Isosceles, hi. Yep, I just kind of spur of the moment did this. Here's our silicone cube mold, and we're gonna find out. I don't have a plan. Well, I have a plan. Now I have a plan, but I didn't initially have a plan. All right, I'm melting some butter in the microwave, which is around the corner here. Get melted butter. So yeah, it's gonna be an adventure. I'm prepared to say at the end that I've wasted ingredients. I spent all of yesterday harvesting and drying basil because it's become cold outside, and all my outdoor herbs are ready to be either indoor herbs or be harvested. Okay, so since I'm trying to set this with agar, it needs to be heated to boiling and extremely thoroughly mixed, or the agar won't be able to bind. And I didn't add a ton of agar to this because it's already pretty thick on account of the pumpkin. But we'll see if this actually works out. We're also... I've gotten lucky a couple times now, where I still had some graham cracker crumbs left over, and I've had sort of bits of everything around here. But I didn't pick up any ingredients for this at the start at all. Okay, let's actually take the heat off of that, because it keeps trying to do that mud volcano thing on me. So if I don't have something, if I bump into not having something that I need at any stage, I'm kind of screwed. So yeah, hello, welcome in, Isosceles. Welcome to this potential garbage fire. Throw some brown powder into our brown powder. And this looks like a job for wide-tined fork. Okay, we definitely need more butter. Definitely was not enough butter in that little dish. More butter. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Pumpkin stuff. It's got agar in it, so now I cannot let it sit around, or we'll have a disaster on our hands, assuming there's not even enough agar in it to set it. But I need the spout to even have a chance of pouring it into these cubes. I've never used agar on something that's already this thick. And I've never seen anyone use agar on something that's already this thick. The ideal use of agar is for like clear... it's hot. Which is a good sign that it's hot enough to set the agar. The ideal use of agar is for like clear liquids, full-on liquids, which it will turn into a solid quite readily. Okay. Get the butter in the crumbs. Okay. Because this stuff is supposed to be the consistency of like a wet sand, which we are pretty good. Okay. can get a little bit more into that one. I think we can make one more, maybe. It's going to be small. Okay, well, I'm going to use that one as a reservoir to sort of top off the other ones instead of having it be its own chunk. Okay, okay. This stuff is going to be my crust, and it may or may not work at all. I won't be able to press it the way you would a normal graham cracker crust. I'm just kind of hoping it adheres enough to the wet side of the pie filling. Okay. I don't know how long it takes to set. That's another issue. But it's going in the fridge. Okay. What else can we do? Those might be a complete failure. I'm prepared for a complete fail today. I have here some unsweetened baking chocolate that I clearly broken in an irregular way. But what say? Well, I greased those wells. If it sets properly, which is a big if, a massive, massive if. But if it sets properly, they should slide on out. So, chocolate. Yeah, big if. Total experiment. Uh, what if I take this chocolate and melt it into something? Don't need a big pot. Oh, there's what? Okay. I'm having a I can't really talk through what I'm doing because I don't heckin' know. We're just kind of making stuff up. We're just kind of making stuff up. What does this yogurt look like? Yogurty. It smells yogurty too. What happens if you heat yogurt? Well, I suppose rather than asking what happens if you heat yogurt, I am going to declare that I'm going to find out what happens when you heat yogurt. About that much of it. It splits. Well, that's not ideal. I'm committed now. Oh. I haven't done any completely wild experiments in a while. In a while. What happens when you melt baking chocolate into non-Greek yogurt and do other stuff to it? Because that's what we're going to find out. That's what we're going to find out. Cornstarch while cold. What about tapioca? Too late. Didn't wait for an answer. I'm committed. There's tapioca in it now. I don't know. Suddenly I'm having fun. That's actually melting really well. I don't think I need the whisk. I need spatula. Make sure it's not getting up on the sides. Of course, this was an unsweetened yogurt that I've added an unsweetened chocolate to. So this is not going to taste good. I'm just going to take the heat off. I don't want to scald this. Okay. I'm making a mess. So what are you guys having for dessert? Classic Monday dessert. Oh my god, that is... Oh my god, that tastes terrible. It's incredibly bitter and also sour. Which is exactly what I was expecting it to taste like. That was just golden syrup that I added just now. I went for the golden syrup instead of the sugar because it should help resist crystallization. Oh. Which I hope will mean that this will stay nice and glossy. Ooh. It's still quite bitter, but now it's also sweet. So it tastes more like chocolate instead of just death. When it was just bitter, it tasted kind of like death. What am I going to do with it? The thing that it is right now is edible. But you wouldn't want to eat it with a spoon. You'd want to have it on something cakey. probably. I almost want to say something that's sweeter than it is, and that it should knock it down. Honestly, when it cools at this stage, it should probably solidify, right? Because the chocolate is solid at room temp. The yogurt is not solid, but like semi-solid. You put in a little bit of starch. Hey, it's our good friend, the pumpkin cubes. Oh. Okay. Pumpkin cubes are still warm to the touch, by the way, so they are definitely not ready to attempt unmolding. And now I've just added some more heat to them, so... What else should I go nuts with today? We're just kind of playing. I don't have any more cubes left, because I have to wash that. I'd have to wash that thing. So we can't do any more cubes. But I want to kill time so we can actually get to unmolding those, which should only take... Once they're cooled... Once they've cooled, they can be unmolded. They don't need, like, extra time to set. That's one of the beauties of agar. The chocolate one might screw up our entire game plan as well. If it is not mostly solid. What else do we... Here's a new acquisition. I got it out of the bargain bin because I would not have purchased this if it was not on the bargain bin. Pink Himalayan salt. Which I've never actually had before, because I think it's pretentious nonsense. So let me be the first to tell you what I think. Let me be the first to tell you I lose my mind today. Okay. Tastes like salt. I guess it's less intensely salty than just pure salt. We're into kill time mode and maybe make something else. I bought this also because the packaging says, this is the most organic and pure version of salt. Salt is, of course, by definition, inorganic. Top quality non-GMO salt. Give me ideas. Throw out ideas. What should I do? Anything at all. There's a mango. There's a plum. There's a tofu. I probably should have an actual dinner item in the lineup today, just so that I have something to eat when these desserts inevitably go disastrously wrong and I have nothing to show for my work today. Putting some things away. Anything at all. Open to suggestions. The floor is open. If something could go with the yogurt mix, then that would. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that stuff. Is that stuff setting? A little bit. It's edible. It's like a very dark chocolate now, instead of just complete bitter. I wonder if you can dip stuff in it, and make it a coating. I wonder how hard it actually gets when you chill it. Fruit on ramen or with rice. Fruit. Ramen or rice. Mango. Close random tabs. Ooh, Google is seizing up. Oh, I've dropped some frames today. That hardly ever happens. I must be having an internet blip. Spaghetti. Mango ramen salad. No. Mango. We should have used evaporated. Oh well. We should have used evaporated milk in the pumpkin puree. Thicker. Do I have any coconut milk? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I have quite a bit of evaporated milk that I should probably have used one of. Evaporated milk also would have been better for the chocolate. Evaporated milk would have been good all around. I'm a fool. What a fool I've been. Okay. Having an idea, having a brainstorm. Oh, what meats do we have? We might not be able to do meats on a short schedule. But I've got the tofu. Okay. This is going to sound crazy. Because it is. We're getting crazy. Opener. Okay. I was going to say, we'll open this can, but it made a noise when I did, and that's usually not a good sign. Tomatoes. With green chilies already added. Heat on. So, tomatoes, which are going to start cooking because I need to get rid of that raw tomato flavor. This is going to go in this. We're going to make chocolate tofu chili. Kinda. Oh, I should have. We're going to go with onion and garlic powders because I forgot about sauteing them in the pan before I started. Onion powder. Garlic powder. Paprika. Stirring tool. Pinches. Wow, this is. Pinch of salt. Black pepper. Spritz of soy sauce. Spritz of. Do I have Worcestershire? I do. Okay. Okay. Choco salsa. I don't know about this one, guys. It's not heating up. Heat up. Do I put beans in it? Do I put beans in it? I don't think so. Do I put fruit in it? Not the plum. Do I put mango in it? And what I do put in it is tofu. So we're going to cut that up because there's no reason not to. I think we're going to skip the beans because there's going to be a lot of tofu in it. Okay. It's going to want some more flavor elements. It's going to want some spice. It's going to want some smoky. So, smoked paprika and chipotle will serve those functions. Tomato powder. I'm going to tomato up my tomatoes by adding tomato to my tomatoes. Tomato. That's some of my homemade tomato powder, which will give you more tomato per tomato. I added just about probably 4 whole tomatoes worth of tomato just now in powdered form. Okay. Well, this might be edible. This might be edible. It should be the name of the cookbook, I think. Okay, this stuff is going in. I have the feeling that the one in the fridge is not going to be a solid. Because this does not seem to be very solid. Although this was also next to some heat for the entire time here. Well, that's committed. That atrocity's been committed. Boy, when's the last time I just went nuts? Normally when I head empty cook, I end up settling into a target, and then I achieve said target. This time it really feels like I'm just throwing nonsense at other nonsense. In a way that is not conducive to making good food. It's it's something. It's something. Put the heat down, let that simmer. Do I put anything else in there? Do I admit that this was all a mistake and just order a pizza? I am afraid that I'll get to the point of tasting the finished product here and just order a pizza. So there's enough savory elements in here that this should, at this stage, be a savory dish. We're going to taste it. We're not just going to assume that it's working and keep soldiering forth. We're going to taste the brown part of this. I know the tofu's not cooked. Oh, it needs something. Okay, what we have going on in here is spicy, savory, and bitter. Those are the flavors that are jumping out at me. Spicy, savory, bitter. Where do we take it? It's not the nicest thing right now. The bitter is really throwing it. A little bit of bitter can be good, but I think it's got too much. Add something salty, sweet, or sour. Sour, we could add a little bit of sour to this. I know the chocolate is bitter. I'm aware that the chocolate is the source of the bitter. I'm not surprised by the bitter. I'm commenting on the degree of the bitter. I tasted the chocolate by itself. I know the chocolate's better. So I've added some black vinegar to our mix. Which should be sour and sweet, although not intensely sweet, which might pull us back. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt and stir that in. It's also really intensely flavored, as though it wants to be served with like rice or noodles. Ooh, rice or noodles. Rice would be the best choice for serving it, but I don't want to start the rice cooker at this stage. Ooh, I know. Yeah, and that'll be pretty fast too. I do need to wash a pan, but grits is a flavor more closely aligned with what this is tasting like, and it cooks pretty fast. Uh, okay. And it's something I have on hand, so I don't have to run out and find a new thing. Okay. Cup and a half of water, hard boil. Okay. Stir this around. Boy, the cleanup today is going to be a nightmare. Get out a medium large bowl. No, one size up from that. My cornmeal. Okay, we have an ad approaching. Hour and a half already, wow. Once I started just throwing stuff at the wall, the time started to fly. It's exciting. I'm excited. I'm having fun. Just finding out what we're gonna see at the end of all this. At the end of all things. Okay, hydrate our corn meal. We've done this before, but your standard grits is 4 parts water to 1 part grits, but you only boil 3 of the parts. The other part you add to the corn cold to get them started hydrating. Otherwise, they form a big old lump as soon as they hit the boiling water. Speaking of which, there's the boiling water. Couscous would have been good here too. Stir around, try to eliminate any lumps that do appear. And let it do its thing. Okay. Stir this around, see what we're working with. Losing track of all my spoons. Boy, that tastes a lot better than it did a minute ago. Boy, that tastes a lot better than it did a minute ago. Have I saved this? I might have saved this. Where's that knife I was using? I don't want to get a new knife out. Don't put all of them in. Just put most of them in. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take the heat off over here because I think this has turned into an edible food. I think my I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how that happened, but I believe this has turned into food. From technically edible biomatter into actual food. Head empty cooking for the win, I guess. It's not even any oil in this. We boiled this. There wasn't even anything sauteed in it at all. Bizarre. Bizarre. How are the grits? They look like grits. A little bit stuck at the bottom, but that's fine. They look like grits. Let's get out a plate, I guess, and get to it. This is taking way longer than I had originally planned. That's enough grits for plating. Oh yeah, I didn't season the grits at all. Well, I guess this stuff will have to do the heavy lifting on the flavor front. Okay. Chocolate tofu chili with grits. I'm running out of spoons. Dollop of sour cream on top. Well, I guess I'll go take a picture of this unexpected thing. It's about as unexpected as my projects get. Since I started out with entirely sweet dessert ideas, and we landed here. Where did I put my camera? Camera tablet. We'll have to go. We'll go back and we'll check on those cubes after I find my camera. Oh, I know where I put it. Aha! Yes, it's exactly there. In the place where it's not supposed to be, but I remember putting it there. Weird. Weird. Okay. Let me come back and tell you about this stuff now that I've got it. Now that we've become Death, Destroyer of Worlds. So it doesn't taste like a chili. If I taste just the goo, just the brown part, it's tomato forward. It tastes tomatoey. And then it's got this sort of complex layered spices. It's very, very savory, and it's actually pretty spicy too. Um, which is part of why I put the sour cream on there, because it's actually got pretty spicy in the end. Um, it's really interesting. The tofu pieces weren't in there long enough to really completely merge with the thing. They still taste like tofu. If I break one in half, they're still white on the inside. So when you bite into them, you taste tofu. It's hot. But that's actually good, because without the tofu, the sauce part, and I think that was the mistake. When I tasted it earlier and said, "Oh, it's too much of everything," I've avoided the tofu pieces because I knew they weren't going to be done. Well, they mitigate. The tofu really helps mitigate the intensity of especially the bitterness from the chocolate. The bitterness is definitely still there. It's very savory, spicy, and bitter, but no, it's no longer like unpleasantly bitter. It's this nice sort of undertone of bitter. I think adding that vinegar helped a lot. Brought it back towards a more happy balance. The tofu pieces really, really make it with it. If I take a bite without the tofu, it's just not as good. Mm, mm, mm. Wow, oh, I got some follows over the weekend when I wasn't streaming. That's weird. Oh, it's because I was in somebody else's cooking stream over the weekend, chit chatting, and I mentioned that I was going to make mayonnaise. Making edible mayonnaise is now on my list of projects, because I called someone out for not making mayonnaise. This is pretty good stuff. I have no idea. Well, I could backtrace this and try to make this but sane, because the way I got to this was absolute madness, and you should not follow the method I used here. The baking chocolate was definitely not the way to go. If you want that chocolate bitterness in there, go for cocoa powder. Fascinating. Didn't take very long either. Ultimately, this thing didn't take very long. I'm going to keep nibbling on that. We're going to see how hot. Oh, they're still warm at the bottom. And the chocolate one is very liquid. Okay, so here's our thing, the other thing. The chocolate one is very liquid. The pumpkin ones are still pretty gooey too. I don't think we set at all. I can't in good conscience take these out right now, because I want to give them a chance to at least have a chance. So, unfortunately, I kind of want to stick them in the freezer. Probably should have stuck them in the freezer right away. Get them to set up. They're not fridge cold yet. And honestly, I think the silicone is probably working against me. This would be better in a vessel that cools down faster. Silicone is not a very good thermal conductor, and it's kind of insulating the sides a bit, even though it's so thin. God, I really wanted to try to get these out of here. The chocolate one was a mistake. I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, the chocolate one was a mistake, and I think I have to freeze them to get them out of there because of the chocolate one. I don't think that's going to set. I just don't think that's even got a chance of setting, based on what it looks like now. But let's stick the whole thing in the freezer. And pray. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to kill time with. So, and I have created a colossal mess. A mess beyond normal messes. Ooh, you know what I should have put in there? Pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice chocolate chili. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait to unmold those things. So the chunks are gonna have to be put on hold. Tell you what, if you're here now and you want to see the chunks, let me find my link to my Instagram. My Instagram. My photos will go up there on their Instagram. I'll take photos of it regardless of whether or not it works. It might be a photo of a cube, it might be a photo of a puddle. And if you're on my Discord, I will put them there as well. I don't have Discord open. Oh, I do have Discord open. Invite link. Bam. Bam. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna have to send it off because they're not set, and I want to give them at least a chance to set before taking them out. So it might, like I said, it might be a picture of a nice cube, and it might be a picture of a nice puddle. The pumpkin ones will be tasty either way because they were quite tasty when they went in. They just might be more of a soup. And that's the plan. We're gonna raid out and see who's doing where and how. We're gonna go see LeFay. We're gonna go raid LeFay because I want to see LeFay's face when I say the things that I made today. And we love LeFay. LeFay's a friend of the channel. LeFay. She's playing demos right now. There's a demo fest. One of those things is happening today. So, yeah. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out. I know this was unannounced. I didn't even post it on any of the socials. I just showed up, and wouldn't you know it, you showed up too. It was also real last second, and who knows if it worked. We still don't know if it worked. At least the chocolate tofu chili and grits. It's actually pretty tasty. I'm pleased that I got a actual meal out of that and didn't have to throw a bunch of stuff away. I was real concerned. So I will be back later in the week. It's going to be a little bit in flux because the furnace guy's coming back, and I'm not sure when. So I'll have to sort of dance around that. But I will definitely be back later in the week, and hopefully more frequently. Bye. Bye.